Yeah,
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm so excited to be talking with you guys. I absolutely loved Gwen. The single is awesome, and the internet loves it just as much as I do, obviously. So, introduce yourselves and what instruments you play.
Yeah.
I'm Aaron. I play guitar and produce
And bass.
and bass.
Mhm.
I'm Chelsea. I sing.
I'm Andrew. I also play guitar, bass, and produce. And not with us today is our drummer Dan, who plays the drums.
Okay, so how did, and Dan on this too, but how did you guys all meet and what made you decide to want to start a band together?
Yeah, so I was producing a little bit more of like a bedroom pop vibe music with Aaron in high school. So we've known each other for like 4 years now. And the beginning of this year, I'd always kind of wanted to do like a rock focused thing. He was a pop producer, but he has like a love for rock inside his heart. And I was like, I really want to have a band. And we're like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Like, let's do it. Let's find a band. And he introduced me to Andy and Dan, because he's worked with both of them in like sessions and performances. And now we're all just like best friends, and this is our band. And we're actually auditioning some bass players tonight. So hopefully we'll have a new friend.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So, and you guys are LA based, right? You're all from Los Angeles? Awesome. So where did the band name come from? Where did you get Wilt from?
Yeah, I'll talk again. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
no, it's
So what do you call it? So the band Hole, they have a song called Celebrity Skin. It's probably one of their most popular songs. Not the one I resonate with the most. I like Violet. But Celebrity Skin, we did a cover of Celebrity Skin for like our first and only thus far house show on my birthday. And Hole's been like a huge part of my life, a huge part of my like music inspiration. There's a line in that song that goes, wilted and faded somewhere in Hollywood. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna use Wilt. Like that sounds sick. That sounds grungy and rock and exactly what we want to be, you know?
Yeah, it definitely embraces that vibe. And so you guys are blowing up on Instagram right now. I remember when I first followed you, you had like 7,000 followers, and I looked again, and now you have like 28K or something. It's crazy. So how does it? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no,
Yeah, we're almost at 40 today.
What did you hit?
40K.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I meant 38K, not 28K.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was only off by 10,000.
You're good.
Yeah,
it changes for the day.
Yeah,
it does.
Blink and we get 5,000 more followers.
No, seriously, that's incredible. It's like the fastest I've watched a band blow up ever, because this is all happening within like a week and a half. How does it feel to have the internet and those supporters as a resource for getting your music out into the world?
You want to go, Andrew?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's so exciting to have so much attention so fast, because we like really didn't see it happening this way. We've all been like working in music for a bit. Chelsea's newer, but Aaron and I both have been working with a lot of artists trying to get things off the ground. And I think with this band especially, we expected it to be kind of a slow build. We thought Gwen might get 10K, but we definitely saw it as like just sort of a steady growth thing that we were going to put into over the next year. But just seeing the success on the single overnight has been so encouraging, but like also overwhelming, because just it's like now the pressure's on of like, wow, like the next song really matters. What we're putting out there like really matters. Like everyone's paying attention and watching and listening.
People we don't know are actually listening to us, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's very much like, it's surreal.
So surreal.
And it's like something that it's so hard to describe, but like seeing people just share our updates on their story is
like,
such a
totally relevant enough for that.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Like I can't believe anyone cares.
They do.
Like somebody made a meme page to save my mustache.
I saw that. That was funny.
And then somebody started a meme page yesterday, and just been like already made like 4 memes just like,
and they make us laugh. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and
that's great.
We really couldn't ask for anything more, because it just like really makes us feel so excited to like put out more music and just like share our creative vision.
Yeah, what we're doing is worth it, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely it is. And that song also it kind of scratched an itch for me. It was something, the vibe of that song I haven't heard in so long with music that's just now coming out. It really does have that 90s grunge feel. And I love that, because you can't find that in music anymore. Not something as authentic as how that felt for me, at least.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan, so it's really cool that I get to sit here and talk with you guys about this. So a lot of bands in general have toured all over on a single. Do you think you'll plan on doing any tours at all? Not like worldwide or anything, but just even up the West Coast within the next year or so.
So the West, it's like we haven't played a show in Los Angeles yet.
Yeah.
So
I'm jumping a little ahead of myself here, but you know,
it is the West Coast. That would be the move, right? And like I
Mhm.
know for a fact, like LA is the biggest streaming, and then like not far behind that is Seattle, and now
Yeah.
we just Portland's on there as well, and then so we just gotta string things together. When people hit us up and they say, "Hey, are you going on tour?" I just tell them we base our touring dates around what cities are getting the most streams.
That's
So
true.
if you want us to show up, run the numbers up, and we'll come
Show
through.
your friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I will. I will.
Yeah.
If you guys come by anywhere in Oregon, I'd love to come and like take pictures for you guys or something for.
How far
That'd be
away are you
Yeah.
from Portland? You near
I'm
Portland?
I'm from Eugene, but I'm totally
Okay,
willing
yeah.
to travel to Portland. So I love that
Yeah,
city.
that'd be so sick. Yeah, we're
It's a
hoping to
really
do
good city.
some kind of tour, whether it's like an opening gig or like a small headlining tour
Mhm.
sometime next year.
23. Yeah.
Sometime next year.
That's awesome.
2023, that's for sure.
Mhm.
So this is kind of going outside of music a little bit, but what other things are you guys into? Like, what other hobbies do you have outside of making music together?
Wait, what?
No hobbies. No, I'm kidding. We have no hot. No, I'm kidding. What are your hobbies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The only other passion in my life is surfing.
That's awesome. I love
It's
that.
a super close second to music, and it's just as consuming for me. Like I need to do it like a few times a week. I haven't because of everything that's been happening. I just moved as well. But me and Andrew will surf together. We'll probably make a silly TikTok about it. Soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm an avid surfer. That's like my other way to like keep my mind, sane.
Yeah, Aaron's been surf pilling me slowly, but it's a gradual process. Yeah, I live over in Hollywood, so it's a bit of a drive to the beach, but I definitely do love surfing with Aaron. I love hiking in the outdoors, and like I'm into just like I love road trips, and like one big goal of mine is to like visit every national park. So I really like to travel. Going to Europe is like always a blast for me, and I try to do it a decent amount. And I'm also into like film photography and that kind of stuff.
I know it's like still kind of related to music.
That's
but
totally
not only,
fine.
like, I love like, making music. I would say like my other hobby is like being a lover of music because I honestly feel like those are two separate things. Like I discover so many new songs every day. I make playlists every single day. It's probably what consumes most of my time. That I also love like fashion, film, everything arts related. But music has been so prevalent throughout my life. It's hard to like not focus on that only.
Did any of you guys go to school for like music or film or anything, or is this just kind of outside of that?
Adjacent.
I went to USC, and I was in the music business program. So like I learned a lot of how the industry works, and I did take some production classes too. Like that's how I got into Ableton, which is what I used to produce. But I wouldn't say that I went to like music school per se. I was in the school of music, but I wasn't learning how to perform. I wasn't preparing to like be in a band. That's
right.
For sure.
Similar to Andy, like I went to communication school and I was always adjacent to music, but like I believe we probably had similar mindsets of like, well, we won't make money being a musician. And that was the thing. It's like, oh, so we'll do music business. I'll do communications. Yeah. It was like because being a musician for real just like isn't really tangible. And then now here we are.
Yeah.
I've always had the pipe dream
Yes.
that I'm gonna be famous. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. But I did go to school for music for like one semester, Columbia College Chicago. And it was during COVID. I'm a little bit younger than all these guys. So it just wasn't really my thing. Loved the city, not really the school. Yeah, that was like my music college experience. One semester I lasted.
Gotcha. I think it's really cool to see bands doing something completely outside of what they thought that they would do. I mean, I guess some of you did kind of focus on that for a little bit, but I love to see stuff happening outside of that too. So kind of back gearing more towards Gwen again. What bands or specific songs have influenced the single or just your music making it the most?
Yeah, I'll take it from the writing side because I wrote this like I think 2 years ago, and then like obviously it's a completely different song when I brought it to them. But when I was writing it, I was really into Hole, obviously, Veruca's Salt, Bikini Kill, all like the kind of like 90s riot girly moments. I love Daisy and the Scouts. That was a huge inspiration when I first started writing, and also like Pretty Sick. They are also a big, and Indigo D'Souza. Sorry, those are like those are the people I was really into at the time. That I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and combine all of this into one stupid song. And then from the production aspect,
Aaron.
Sure, yeah. Well, we wanted it to sound like I was really thinking like, what the hell does a rock band sound like in 2023? And then, if you go look at the top rock charts right now, it's like Imagine Dragons and Steve Vai, which is like, how are they even in the same category? But it's
great,
like,
but they don't match yet.
right, I know. Yeah, exactly. So, we were kind of drawing back to the 90s stuff, like Weezer, Queens of the Stone Age, big guitars.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly more modern would be like Turnstile.
Yeah, we love Turnstile.
They've really like made hardcore like a household name. Or they're getting there with
Yeah,
it.
I mean they got nominated for Grammys this year,
Yeah,
which is like
exactly.
amazing.
So Turnstile, and then yeah, just like 90s kind of like Hole and Nirvana and just like anything
All the
with big
good,
guitars.
Yeah. Laying down the lead guitar on Gwen, I definitely was inspired by like the Bends, like
totally.
the Radiohead album. Like
Mhm.
huge fan of Johnny Greenwood's playing, and also just in general, like yeah, Pretty Sick is a super cool modern influence, but I'm a big fan of shoegaze, so like My Bloody Valentine and Slowdive are like some of my favorite artists. And just yeah, Queens of Stone Age too, also a big vibe.
That's a great lineup of inspirations. A lot of great bands there. And also just touching on the whole like pop kind of becoming rock. Or I think that there's just no scene happening right now. Like there's not a lot to pull from. So I'm hoping that maybe with bands like you guys, you're gonna revive something in the world and we're gonna start to feel it again like we did in the 70s or in the 2000s New York and all these different eras.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
You can like achieve that kind of thing. Yeah, hell yeah.
Exactly. Start the movement. It's awesome. I feel like we kind of already touched on this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. How would you describe your vibe or genre to someone who's interested to listening to you guys but has never taken the time to?
I would say it's a big mix of things because Gwen is a single. It's not an album.
Yes.
It's not the only sound we come out with. Like
Definitely.
our next two songs are gonna sound pretty much nothing like Gwen. It's gonna be a completely different vibe. So it kind of goes by a song basis, but we've been using like the kind of umbrella term of alternative as an umbrella, not as specific. For like what we've been making and what we've been doing, because it all does kind of fall under there, whether it's like grungy or like true alternative or like a little bit more indie rock or like pop rock, it just kind of falls under the alternative term.
Guitar music.
Guitar music.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
Noisy.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of music though.
The noise.
Absolutely. So Gwen is telling a very specific story. There's a very specific persona being described. Is it inspired by something true or is she just kind of a character?
Yeah. So when I was in college, I just moved out of my home. I had moved to a new city where I didn't know anyone. I was making a ton of new friends, but it's an art school, there's bound to be like the issues that come along with art schools, especially in cities. There are like druggy issues and just like you don't have frats and sororities to go to, you go to clubs, you go to bars. And so I just felt like I was like growing up way too quickly because I was like 18, like living on my own and like paying my own bills and having my dog and having a full-time job, which is like not crazy for like literally anyone, but for me it felt like a crazy thing. And so it is partly inspired by myself, partly inspired by some friends, but what I like to view Gwen as is there's a line that says, and oh, I know you can do anything. It comes every chorus, and that's a very important line, because it's talking about like the potential that this Gwen person has. They can do anything. They can do anything they want. They're talented, they're perfect, like they're amazing, but they're not really realizing that like capability that they have this potential to be something amazing. And that's where like the lines, like the Xans and Molly, that shit, like that does come from like real experiences that I've had. And when I first started writing the song, it was almost like a love song because this girl I was like kind of in love with, she just was very much a Gwen type. Yeah, exactly. And like that really like influenced my songwriting. With like the you get iced coffee every Tuesday from the corner shop. I watched her do that shit. Like that's real.
I love how specific it is though, because it definitely feels like you have the storytelling ability in songwriting, which sometimes is kind of hard to pull together, but you did a really great job with that lyrically and melodically. So when you guys were getting in the studio and all that, what did your music making process look like? Like, did you make things separately and bring them together, or did you kind of do it all at once?
Yeah, first I recorded everything in the wrong key. So
oh no.
I spent a lot of time doing that. That was sick. And then Chelsea was like, so it's kind of too low. I'm like, okay. So then yeah, but basically it starts with a demo, and that's usually just me and Chels. Like we'll get together and just MIDI drums. Oh yeah. We'll do like MIDI drums and just her and I in the room, just like a quickie demo, just to like get the idea out. And then we played it as a band, and I noticed like I didn't want to record it too soon because every time that we practiced it as a band, we added a new arrangement and made it better. I think if we had recorded the full version right after the demo, it wouldn't have been nearly as good. And jamming it in a band, that's like one of those things that I've missed so much. And we don't really get to, as a pop producer, like rarely doing. So Andrew added those sick bends in the chorus, like that was all him.
Yeah, that sounded really cool. It added a lot.
It was his idea and Dan's idea too, to do the chugs in the first verse. And Chelsea was like, let me sing it low on the first chorus and then jump up the octave for the second chorus, which is like exactly what it needed. Really was a team effort. Drums is like the first thing that we record, and we did that at Dan's studio. Then we went back to my studio and did the guitars, and then we did Chelsea's vocals.
These are all home studios, by the way.
Yeah, home studios, not like commercial places. Like basically our homes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it never left my computer. We didn't send it anywhere. We just mixed it, mastered it, did it all ourselves.
I guess you could call our genre bedroom rock.
I love that. Create that genre, make it happen.
One of the things I love is like I really like it when bands come up with their own genre for themselves. And I think it's really funny. Like there's this band like a grunge band I really like called Great Grandpa, and they call themselves Snack Rock. And I'm like,
Snack Rock, that's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like no one else is called Snack Rock. They thought of that themselves. So I'm like I have a friend's band in New York. They call themselves Remedial Math Rock, which I'm like, that's really funny.
Wow, that's so specific.
Yeah, it's like that math rock. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, I love this idea of making your own genre, even if it's silly.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, you were talking about this earlier about having songs that are so different from each other. I wasn't trying to like put you in a certain box, but it just with Gwen, and it feels very grunge, but I'm excited to see how far it ranges.
Everything is grunge inspired for sure. And you'll see that throughout every song.
Okay, so this is also kind of moving away from specifically your music, but if you had the chance to open for any artist, dead or alive, who would you want to open for? This can be like collective or indiviable. And
whoa.
Oh, we're gonna answer separately because I just know that I have a different answer than Andrew.
I think we can all agree on Alex G.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
Like his audience. I mean, his audience might like us. I love Alex G. We're all big Alex G fans. That'd be an absolute fucking dream.
Yeah, we all like Alex G.
And it's funny because like he's not even someone like that crazy big.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's just
he's
like, but we love.
There.
He is getting there.
He's
Thank God.
An icon, I think.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll settle for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Realistically, maybe like sometime next year. Like I said, we love Pretty Sick. That'd be super cool to open for them. And this band Mama, me and Andrew are super into them right now.
Yeah.
And we kind of have almost like a similar sound to them. I think we could play to the same audience. So I think those are two more realistic goals. Those are goals.
Awesome. Well, I hope that does happen, even if it's just like smaller shows and stuff. I'm excited to watch it go from really small artists to being a lot bigger artists until you're headlining, obviously. So I have big hopes and dreams for you guys. I hope you know this.
Thank you.
So you also, I think this was like 2 days ago, but you confirmed that you're dropping 2 new songs in January, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can we expect an album in some point in 2023?
You can expect an EP at some point in 2023. Definitely some more singles. Probably an EP by the end of the year. Yeah.
Awesome. And you also posted a teaser of one of the songs on Instagram, or like a little snippet of it. Could we get the song title for that, or are you waiting for release?
Yeah. So the song title is Nothing Special. Yeah, but don't take that Nothing Special name into what you think it might be, because it's really different.
It's pretty special.
It's interesting.
Absolutely
different.
Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing it. I'm sure everyone else is too.
Thanks.
That's kind of about all the questions I had. That went a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Also, quick side note, I was curious which one of you responded to my story with the Strokes song in it.
Oh,
that was me.
Andrew.
I love the Strokes. Are you a Strokes fan?
we all love the
We
Strokes.
saw that you
That's
interviewed
awesome.
the guy.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
Electronic, yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
that was
Me
insane.
and Aaron just saw the Strokes in like
We did.
August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
sick.
did too. I saw them in Seattle. They're so awesome. I love them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Saw them in June, so
Nice.
we're all
Strokes here.
all stroked up.
Awesome. I love that. That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you guys. Thank you for taking the time out of all this craziness to have a few minutes to chat. So I really appreciate it. I'm excited to hear the new singles coming out in January, and I'm sure everyone else is too. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for
Have a
reaching
good
out.
night.
Awesome.
Yes.
You're great.
Yeah, please keep in touch if you guys decide to come up the West Coast or anything. I'd love to come take pictures or at least come and chat again after the concert. So
Hear about it.
Yeah.
all right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.